Hi, Gryoger here, and another Let's Play Solo. So my last video went a little bit long as the party fought a desperate fight in which they ultimately did not succeed and died to the last man. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about where we are in the playtest as far as testing the encounter tables and also the tile tables. Right now I'm pretty pleased, despite the TPK, I'm pretty pleased with the way the monster tables are working. If anything, the goblins are quarters, but the 1/8s and zeros feel like the encounter's a little bit weak. The goblins actually feel pretty strong. It feels like if they hadn't had surprise, this would have been a fine encounter. So that's what I'm going with the tables. I'm not really planning to do any immediate changes to the tables, though I probably am still leaning towards boosting the 1/8 up to the standard, one above, one less, one right in the sweet spot. Uh, Now the tile tables, though, I've noticed in both fights where things have gone super bad is where the party was, where the monsters effectively got to hide behind a door and get surprised. I've been thinking about this, and I think what I'm going to do for early exploration is I am going to not have rooms. That will stop doors from appearing. And what I'm trying to accomplish with this is give the party a little bit more time to breathe, go in and out a couple times, make a little bit of money so they can buy healing potions or healer's kits. And I think that'll give them a little bit more durability. And so I'm going to try that. I am going to change the table a little bit and go from there. Now, one of the things before I close, I want to talk a little bit about solo play and how you can avoid TPKs. Now, I'm testing, so I'm not doing the most optimum things all the time because I'm looking for the average party, not the be all you can be type thing at all situations, which when you're playing solo, of course, that's what you are trying to do when you're not testing. Now, one of the biggest things that I am not doing, which is affecting their survivability, is I'm not using inspiration. Notice how much inspiration these guys all have. They all die with inspiration. You don't want to die with inspiration normally. Okay? The problem with inspiration in solo play is it can really feel like a cheat. You know a little bit more about the monsters, about their setups. Are they minions? Is there some guy stealthing? All this type of stuff. And so when you suddenly go, oh, I use inspiration, it's like, well, it kind of feels like a cheat. So how can you avoid that feeling yet still use it fairly effectively? I have a real life party that likes to build glass cannon parties. They love to do lots of damage, and they're extremely conscious of the action economy. And one of the things they do is they pretty much only use inspiration when somebody's going to die on a death save. So what I'm suggesting for you, what you can do that'll allow you to not feel like you're cheating is do something similar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you through this last fight and comment a couple places where inspiration could have been used. One of the things this party spent a lot of time doing, Proudfoot and Martin, spent a lot of time stabilizing the cleric and the Eladrin, the wizard. If you follow the strategy that I did above, talked about, is that instead of them trying to stabilize them, they would have let them make their death saves, use their inspiration to avoid it, and self-stabilize. What this would have done is would have given Martin and Proudfoot, they could have double moved, they could have gotten around the passage, they could have readied, they could have done all sorts of stuff. And that's a strategy, I think, that feels like you're not being gamey, you're keeping your guys alive, and you're giving the opportunity to roll that 20, which will get them right back up and into the fight. The other thing is, so you obviously only want to spend inspiration if you feel the guy's in trouble. There's a lot of times characters go down at the very end of a fight where there's probably not really any serious damage. Where things get really risky is when people start going down early in the first or second round, which is, of course, what happened here. So your character's up, but some of your other party members are down. When do we use inspiration then? It's a good question. And when they were retreating, there was an excellent time when Martin should have used it when he made 2 attacks versus the guy right in front of him and missed twice. That would have been a perfect, after with his glaive, the first miss, that would have been a great time to do it. It does a lot of damage, and what they're really trying to do to even out this fight would have been to take out one of these goblins. Because if they could have taken out the goblins, they would have had an advantage. Even with only Martin and Proudfoot up, Martin has attack and a bonus action attack, so that's 2 attacks, and Proudfoot has 1 attack, and there's only 3 goblins. So they actually had the same number of attacks as 3 goblins, and so if they could have taken down just 1 goblin, it likely would have made a big difference in this fight. So that's when, if you're up, you got a lot of people down, and you're outnumbered by the monsters. When you miss and it's a good attack, I don't do it if you have disadvantage unless you're truly, truly desperate. That's when you spend the inspiration. That would have been a good time for Martin to spend it. And the good time for Proudfoot to spend his was when he came around the corner and tried to shoot the same goblin after Martin had missed it twice. That would have been a good time for him to do it as well. Because if they could have evened out the goblins, then this fight very likely might have gone the other way. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. Just to have you think a little bit about inspiration and how it can help your guys without being a little bit too gamey.